My work's abstract and it tends to have geometric patterns or systems based, and I'm interested in putting shapes in different spaces and finding out what happens when you create rhythms and what you can imply moving around a space and using different materials in those spaces too. So dependent on what the space is, I'll adjust the materials. I like spaces that have lots of natural light, so then I can play with that, and if there's windows I might work onto the windows and then use walls adjacent to create a relationship between what's going on outside and what's happening inside. I'd say my main concern is I'm interested in drawing and potential of drawing not just on paper but as a 3D intervention. I also do a lot of printmaking, which I use to test out ideas, and a lot of the motifs that I make in my prints then reappear in the wall drawings and installations. So for me, I never really work in a sketchbook. I tend to test out ideas straight onto large sheets of paper and then play with it from there. I thought it was a really good opportunity to have a month just to focus on my work. I tend to work towards exhibitions, so a lot of the work is created. It sort of happens over a sort of period of time, talking to someone and then having 2 or 3 days to install. So it's quite a luxury to have a month where I can just come and indulge in my practice. And I like the fact that the art house is a working space and there's artists here who are all creating work. So it's nice to be able to come here and sort of settle into the environment and have interesting people around me, but also be able to sort of take on a space and really kind of just indulge, I suppose, in my practice. And also, I grew up in the north and I'm quite keen to continue sort of my connections with people in the area, so it's a good opportunity to find out a bit more about what's going on here and make friends and connections that could potentially lead to more projects in the future. For the final exhibition, I'm going to be working in the project space. The idea is that I'm going to present a couple of wall drawings which I'm going to project onto using handmade vinyl slides. And I've also been working with various methods of embossing paper, so I'd quite like to display some of those as well, probably more as an installation than just kind of pieces that are hung in frames. So I'm going to be exploring different ways of presenting them in the space, and one of the ideas is that because I'm going to be projecting onto the walls, I want the space to be quite dark. The project space is quite interesting because although it's kind of an open room, it has sort of sections within it, so I'm hoping to create sort of 3 different areas with sort of slightly different moods within them. It'll kind of like really be a way of playing with light and surface and projecting across a surface to change the scale and way that you read the space. It's been excellent. I've really enjoyed myself. I've never done a residency before, so it was a good experience to have. And I wasn't really sure what to expect, so I kind of came with quite an open mind. I've really enjoyed meeting people in the area, and it's been great to have access to facilities. It's given me a lot of freedom that I wouldn't normally have to focus on my work, so that's been very valuable. I think it's helped me learn more about how I work as an artist. Because I think you often kind of, when you're doing exhibitions, you're just producing work for somebody, whereas actually just to have a month where you get to be an artist and indulge in your practice makes you think more about how you use your time. And for example, sort of when I got here, I felt like I should be making work, but actually I needed to have time to think before I did it. So it's quite good to sort of step back and relax into it and sort of remind yourself the elements of your practice and how you tend to work. So it's a very supportive residency because it's funded, and they've really kind of thought quite carefully about what's good for the artists and how to help them. So it's if you're kind of interested particularly in getting involved in the arts in this area, I think it's a really good thing to do because I've met lots of interesting people and really been able to kind of explore which I wanted to do, so that's been great.